You can't lose a Zack Wheeler, Nick Martinez game with a series kind of up in the air like that. And it was good to see Zack Wheeler again come through in a massive way. 6 innings pitched today, only 1 hit allowed, 0 earned runs, 4 walks, which is a little high and abnormal for him, but totally fine by most people's standards. 8 strikeouts, 103 pitches on the day, 62 of those for strikes. And with that, the 6 innings pitched, he was able to drop his season ERA from, I believe, a 2.48 or a 2.50 down to a 1.93. So Zack Wheeler is probably your NL Cy Young favorite still with a sub-2 ERA. Really
and
impressive
with
game.
That, continues to have the Phillies with 3 pitchers that are top in the NL in ERA because currently you have...
Well, one of them's going to the bullpen, right?
Yeah, exactly. You currently have across the pitching staff, Spencer Turnbull is second in the NL in ERA. You've got Ranger Suarez, so his 1.33 ERA, Ranger with his 1.36, and then now Zach has a 1.93. And so they're top right now behind Reynaldo Lopez with the Braves. And it's great to see Zach getting supported yet again. Another game where we got to see Zach getting run support. Defensively, it was much cleaner today, way less errors. He did give up 4 walks, which is actually a season high. He had given up 3 walks against the Pirates a couple of starts ago, but also had back-to-back scoreless outings, which is another positive. Like, I love being able to pick. I'm trying to be positive, optimistic, Patty, because I feel like I'm overly sometimes frustrated. So another positive, back-to-back scoreless outings for Zack Wheeler. Another game he got to go into 6 innings, did only give up that 1 hit. And we got to see Zach, as you mentioned, with his ERA continuing to drop, continue to also show why he is a top starting pitcher across the league. So nice to see Zach out there on a nice sunny day, clean day, no errors, getting run support. You know, we've come a long way. We've come a long way since how the season started.
Yeah, I saw MLB earlier today put out their top 10 pitchers on the year, and Zack Wheeler was actually number 1 on their list. Now, I was really looking at the list to see where adorable Sweet Ranger was. I'll be completely honest, because I expect Zack Wheeler to be at the top of a pitcher's list. And I got all the way down to 9, and I was like, where the fuck is Ranger? Oh, there he is, number 10. Okay. And it was close.
They almost had
They
you,
barely
like,
snuck him in.
What would you have done if he wasn't top 10? Are you sending in an
I would
angry
have driven
letter?
to New York and demanded Rob Manfred come out and talk to me.
Or you're going to be like that kid that was telling him about the blackouts.
Do you think Rob Manfred runs their social media account?
Yeah,
yeah, like, because apparently
Are you like the have you ever seen the tweet from the mom and it's like, did you change Google's logo? And the kid responds like, Mom, do you think I run Google?
Yes.
Yes,
Apparently,
Rob Manfred definitely handles their tweets and Instagram accounts, Tyler.
Okay.
But no, so Zack Wheeler was listed as the top pitcher in baseball, and Ranger Suarez was number 10.
So all is saved. You didn't have to drive up to New York.
And the rest were Tariq Skubal was like number 3 or 4. Tyler Glasnow was like somewhere in that 3 to 5 range. Number 2, I think, was Corbin Burns. I think Pablo Lopez snuck in at number 9. I'm going off of memory here. And a couple others. So, it was good to see 2 Phillies in the top 10. And look, if Spencer Turnbull isn't going to the bullpen, I mean, if you're just talking about a 5-game sample size, if that's all it genuinely is, like, he's a top 20 pitcher in baseball right now, which is wild to think that you're actually going to send that guy to the pen.
Well, as we're talking about Spencer, he almost wasn't here, and it actually could have been Nick Martinez that was on the Phillies. That was something that was being talked about, that the Phillies were going after Nick Martinez, who we saw have a nice 6 innings, did give up 5 runs, of course, and 11 hits, but the Phillies weren't able to guarantee him a starting spot. And that was the issue. The Reds have moved him into the starting rotation. The Phillies couldn't guarantee that. And that was the difference maker for getting a Nick Martinez or instead getting Spencer Turnbull. And obviously there were other names in that too. But ultimately we have Spencer Turnbull because it didn't work out with Nick Martinez, who wanted to be an everyday, definitive part of that starting rotation. So good to see the almost Philly Nick Martinez get rocked a little bit. He still pitched very well, but This was interesting to think that he could have been wearing a Phillies jersey.
Yeah, Tyler, you wanted Nick Martinez. You would have been cool with that signing?
I was huge on Nick Martinez, and we're going to play Where's Waldo again. It's not that hard. I'm right there.
Well, I can't see.
Oh,
So.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
You guys can't see anything. That's right. I got to fix this TV in here. I wanted Nick Martinez. He was the guy. I don't know if you guys remember the year that they played the Padres in the NLCS. I mean, you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, when Kyle Schwarber hit a piss missile into the ocean.
I didn't mean to. I shouldn't have said it that way. You guys remember that series pretty well, I think. He and Robert Suarez were the two guys that I was baffled by how good they were throwing that entire year. And I wanted Nick Martinez. I didn't think Robert Suarez was going anywhere, but when Nick Martinez was a free agent, I wanted to acquire Nick Martinez. I wanted the Phillies to acquire Nick Martinez, but the thing would have been, it was the same thing with Jordan Hicks. He wanted to start. I would have had no interest in Nick Martinez as a starter. I wanted Nick Martinez in the bullpen, and I understand that he started some games with the Padres. He's now starting full-time with the Reds. I get why you sign elsewhere. I would have signed him as another bullpen piece.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, Nick did have that incredible 2022 NLCS where he had just one hit given up in that 6-inning performance. But yeah, he was a guy that the Phillies could have gotten, and they didn't. But I'm happy with Spencer Turnbull, and now I'm interested, more importantly, to see how this pans out, because for Spencer to have had yet another good start, and I know we're going to get into yesterday's game because we haven't had a chance to talk about it on the show with you guys, but he really did a good job of setting us all up to wonder and even had to have the conversation of options. Like, if he went out there and stunk, it'd be easy. Send him down to the bullpen, send him out to the bullpen. Like, it's fine. But he continued to be steady. So the starting pitching core, again, top in the NL. You have 3 guys, top 6 in the NL and ERA. You've got all these statistics
I think
that
the advanced
continue to be
analytics
well.
on that are good.
Oh, yeah.
I would say, yeah, that's good. I'm just trying to digest those numbers. Yeah, that's a positive. It was a really funny moment in the game when Nick Castellanos, I'm not going to go Ruben Amaro on you and say it was an excellent catch. It was a routine-ish catch, but it was Nick Castellanos, so it's always nice when he catches it. He caught out 3 on the warning track, running back towards the wall to get Zack Wheeler out of the jam. He did have the bases loaded jam there. But Tyler notes, and this is a good observation from young Zuli, that Zack Wheeler only threw 9 sweepers today, and he got 1 whiff. And Tyler's point, and I'll let you go on with this, Tyler, good pitchers know when something isn't working and they don't force feed it. It's a really good point.
Yeah, I mean, you go away from stuff that doesn't work. If I get early in a game, I get early in a season that you're going to work through some stuff. But in a game that you felt like, especially when it was 1-0 and when it was 2-0, and then obviously the lead balloons a little bit, but in a game that was tight like that, you really can't afford to miss with a bad pitch or a pitch that you can't get a grip on that day. So to go to just 9 sweepers, it makes sense as to why he pounded the strike zone with the fastball. And listen, his command wasn't particularly sharp today. I thought that this was, from a stuff standpoint,
he kind of grinded it out.
It was probably one of Wheeler's poorer performances from a stuff standpoint. But when you look at the fact that he threw 30-some-odd pitches in the 3rd inning, the fact that he got through 6, the fact that, yes, he walked 4 and did not allow a run, even though stuff-wise it was one of the lesser performances, like a gut check performance, this was one of his better starts because of the fact that, you didn't have your stuff, you're facing adversity, and you battle through it, and you get through 6 shutout innings, and you set your bullpen up for success, and when your team gives you 5 runs of support, which is something we've not seen from him all that often or for him all that often, I think that it allows you to attack the zone in a way that you can feel more comfortable, especially when you don't have your best stuff.
And that's the making of what separates good versus, the great. Is you find a way to still grind out wins. You find a way to make the adjustments. I mean, you look at even someone like a Sir Anthony yesterday didn't make adjustments. Zach is able to make adjustments. It doesn't always have to be pretty. It doesn't always have to be perfect. But if you still find a way to, get in and out of each inning without having it blow up, that is the making of a pitcher you can rely on, a pitcher that you know what they're going to bring to the mound. So that's a really good point that you bring up, Tyler, because Zach absolutely is someone that even when he's in a rocky spot and maybe his command's off or he's not, throwing his best stuff, you still feel comfortable that he's going to be able to address it, read it, and make the necessary changes in game to get out of it.
Yeah, when Caleb Cotham came out to talk to him, he just gave him a look of like, you MFer, get back in that dugout.
Like, I got this.
I know what to do. It was really funny. Just looking at some of his advanced analytics on the game, Threw the four-seam fastball just about 40% of the time. Splitter, 12, cutter like 7%. His expected batting average against the Reds today was a 189. And if that's a day where, he might not have had his best stuff overall and his expected batting average is below 200, really, really impressive. His K rate today, 30.2%. Just a phenomenal game versus a pretty pesky Reds team, I would say, overall. They're not like great. They're a potential playoff team, but they're just kind of a pain in the ass, and they kind of grind games out a little bit, and they're never really going to quit or die on you.